What's up, everyone? I am the Kaiju no Kami with
Cruellica Kain.
And we are back to talk about...
Once again, we're not doing a Time Fire show. But joining us, one of which will be running away the moment I let him go, we have Love Cuff, and then our newest mascot, Ren Akiyama. And I'll let Ren go now. Bye, Ren. Just like the show, Ren just doesn't care.
Anyway, we are here to talk about Kamen Rider Geats, not Kamen Rider Ryuki. If we were talking about Kamen Rider Ryuki, it'd be much better because we'd be talking about a good Kamen Rider series.
But we also have Kamen Rider Revice being represented here. So we have Revice, Ryuki, who's on the floor, just staring off into space like, what the hell have I been adopted into? And then this, which is the coolest gift from Silver Quill. He couldn't be here because he didn't want to sit there and catch up on all the episodes we're behind. But he has been keeping up on the show. Hopefully he's been talking about it, but we can at least interject with some of his thoughts. And I'm going to put Love Cup like this. And just so you know, this plushie is huge and weighty. And if you want to see the unboxing of when I got the gift for this,
check out Silver Quill's channel in about 2-3 years.
You may have to just post it in the interim. Basically, we have a war of presents. I won't be naming who's next on the list to be a participant. Unwilling.
But just know that Silver Quill wrapped it in chains of love.
Oh yes, and I still have all those chains. Because he made me try to decipher a lock to be able to open it.
You forge your chains link by link. Yours were this long when I died 7 years ago.
You died 7 years ago? I know what you're referencing, but still, you died 7 years ago?
Alright.
But we are here to talk about the Jyamato arc of Kamen Rider Geats.
Episodes 25 to 32.
So let's just start off with the unanimous comment about this particular arc between the two of us as well as Silver Quill when you had talked to him recently.
This arc sucked.
Well, I'm not going to say it unilaterally sucked, but it was the weakest.
Boring. Even more boring than the last arc. And it sucks because last arc ended on such an interesting note that I was like, cool, I can't wait to see how the next arc plays out. We started the next arc and I'm like, oh my god, I'm bored again. Why is it that every arc ends on this high point and the next arc ends low or begins very, very low?
So, I'm just going to do a quick nutshell recap. Because I actually want to talk more about the characters and the things we learned than the episodes. Okay, before I do that.
Well, actually, I shouldn't say it was like low point. Because I did actually like the first two episodes of the arc for the music aspect. Because when we had the Jyamato banging on the drums.
The taiko drums?
Well, not all of them were taiko, but banging on the drums, hibiki style. That was kind of cool, but at times I was like, hey, show, what's the point of having the monsters doing drums if you're just going to have your regular music drown it out? That was, I think, a pretty poor aspect. They should have had none of the show's music so you could just hear the drumming going with the battle scene.
So, on that tangent, this arc, pretty much, as I said, is the Jyamato arc. So
Jyamato Grand Prix.
The Jyamato Grand Prix. And so, just like the normal Grand Prix, usually when you have them via Pontiac, they suck. Now, car racing Grand Prix are not that bad. But, I'm white trash. That's why I've been to a lot of car races. And demolition derbies, monster truck rallies, drag races. But nevertheless, this arc is really where...
Wait, drag races?
There's actual drag races. It's not just drag queen races. RuPaul took the name drag race.
Wait. Is it drag queens in really decked out cars racing each other?
See, that would be awesome. Actual drag races are two vehicles that usually go like a half mile to 3/4 of a mile, and they have these souped up cars, and they just, whoever gets to the finish line first wins. It's 2 cars, it's a 2-for-2 race typically. And RuPaul made the name RuPaul's Drag Race kind of a pun on the actual type of race that exists, and obviously because drag queens. So it's kind of like a pun on itself. But rather than talking about a show I really, really love, let's get back to the show that I enjoy. Well, if I had to choose between a Grand Prix for Kamen Riders and a drag queen's drag race, I'm going with drag queen.
There you go. The next season of RuPaul could be the DGP, Drag Grand Prix.
That needs to be done.
And it could be all the drag queens dressing up as Kamen Rider characters.
I know there's a few who are Kamen Rider fans, so that would be fucking awesome. But anyways, back to the actual show at hand.
Okay, so we've got the really cool festival episodes with the boom, 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 boom,
with the
boom,
drums.
boom, 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 boom. And I did like that little thing, except it was convenient though. That kid grabs the Oni's bell, and all of a sudden, his mom in that 10-minute period woke up from the hospital, was completely discharged, and is on her way home.
I hate to break it to you, but did you think that wasn't going to happen?
Well, I was expecting something a little bit more realistic, that, okay, she's awake, someone would come running saying your mom has woken up, and he would go to the hospital and visit her.
Teacher! What reality do you live in where you think Kamen Rider, with the way this show has been done, isn't going to have that happen? Exactly what did happen in the episode with the mom miraculously getting better.
I was hoping for something better. Something better.
Sorry, I hate to break it to you. It's a common trope in a Kamen Rider series. I had to. But then after this, we then had, it seemed, the next one was a Warring States one. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The 2-parter with the Sengoku period.
Yes, the Sengoku period.
That was very boring.
But
that was my least favorite of the 8 episode arc.
But with that arc, we got the introduction, or not the introduction, but we got an explanation of why Ace seems to know so much more about the Grand Prix than
even
he
the Grand Prix people.
He knows more than what the people even know that run the fucking show. So what we find out is that when Ace's mother left him, it wasn't 25 years ago based on his current age. It was more than 2,000 years ago.
When he was born in the Roman period.
Yes, so he was born pre-Jesus. Thank God they didn't go the whole Jesus route with him. But he was born pre-Jesus, and his name throughout each reincarnation, because apparently he's played the Grand Prix every single time it's existed. Almost every single time. And when he has died, he has been reincarnated, and his name will match in some way, shape, or form the name Ace.
Yeah, because in the Sengoku period he was Eisu, E-I-S-U. I'm trying to remember what his name was. Was it Ace originally for the Roman one?
Yes.
Okay.
But he's taken on a variation of that, and with his particular reincarnations, he actually has remembered everything that has happened before. And that's why, in a way, his ego is so ridiculous. because he's got the benefit that no other human being has. He's not omniscient. He just basically has had the opportunity, in some good and bad ways, to really learn from experience. It kind of reminded me, in a very different context, but kind of reminded me of Groundhog's Day. Or even Happy Death Day. Very different in the perspective they're recycling a day, but it almost feels like he has...
Oh my god, wouldn't that be so cool, though, to have a Kamen Rider series where the Kamen Rider, every couple of episodes, would lose, die, and wake up with the whole thing reset.
And retain all the memories from the...
And have to go through the whole thing over and over. I don't think it would work as a full-length 50-year-long series, but as like maybe a 15, 20 episode miniseries.
It could work as a full-length series if he was still able to progress time in some way, shape, or form. I don't know. I'm not a series writer, so I wouldn't know how to navigate that. But that would be super awesome. But in that essence, in that vein of things, he has had the opportunity, like Bill Murray in Groundhog's Day, where he relived the same day. I think it was over 2,000 times. It's been a long time since I watched the movie, but I know it was a ridiculous number. So that was interesting for the Sengoku period. Now, when we get to the next episodes, which is the, it's the bullfighting episodes, which is kind of apropos with Bufa. But this is where we learn something that I don't necessarily think I got until they talked about it, but you seem to have kind of felt like you had the writing on the wall for you there.
Yeah, well... The moment Timefire had the flowers on the floor, it's like, oh, okay, she had died, and he probably either fought in the Grand Prix or found some way to resurrect her, and that's why the mother is always after her, and why he's gonna be always like, yeah, whatever.
Well, so apparently, what happens is Neon is kind of a reincarnation, but not, of Timefire's daughter, Akari. So Akari was kidnapped when I think she was like not 8 or 9.
Well, she's 19 now, and they said it happened 10 years ago.
So it was when she was 9. She was kidnapped, and so we always knew she was kidnapped because that's why her mom was so... having the bodyguards and things like that. She's so protective because her daughter went through a very traumatic thing. However, we come to find out that Akari, which breaks my heart, was kidnapped and killed. And the father, in his grief, which unfortunately I think any father would probably have the same request if their child died in any manner, says he will become a sponsor of the DGP if they can bring his daughter back. But where he changes it, which I think is terrible, rather than wanting to reset time and bring his daughter back, he decides...
He wants his ideal daughter back.
Yes. That somehow, and this is what I think is terrible, it's like somehow it was his daughter's fault for being kidnapped. It was his daughter's fault for being weak and being killed by a kidnapper that was probably not going to leave her alive anyways. And so...
the world's whole memories were erased, thinking Neon survived. And Neon was their daughter the entire time.
And there was no Akari. So the only person who remembered Akari was Timefire.
Yep.
And his goal was that she was never going to find the true love she craves. She was going to end up marrying somebody from the future through the DCP, and she was going to further the Kuruma Corporation, their Kuruma family business. So that was his ultimate goal, that if I can't have my daughter, I would rather bring my company. And so she finally sees Kyun. She gives her mother...
Well, she finally figured out the dude that's been mocking her is Kyun.
She then, after all of this battle and she wins takes place, or even before she wins takes place, she gives her mother back her memories. Her mother first freaks out, which legitimate, and then because she has raised in her mind Neon all her life, assumptively, she wants to still be a part of her daughter's life. And Neon does say, well, I'm not your daughter, and this has never been my home. And so, before, not that I ideally like Neon. I'm not saying she's my favorite character anymore. Keiwa is still my favorite character in that regard. But...
Oh, Keiwa exists in this entire arc?
No.
Because Keiwa seems to have taken a complete back seat for everything going on in this arc.
Keiwa is my favorite character because of everything previously, but I will agree. Keiwa is practically non-existent in this arc, which pisses me off. Because both Ace and Neon have gotten power-ups. But our presumptive main character, who... because they're following kind of that, well, they were supposed to be following that kind of formula from, like, Dawn Brothers, where and Kabuto, where the main character is not the actual main rider. But it's frustrating for that. But where I was going with Neon is that, while she's not that poor little rich girl anymore, she's still not my favorite character, but I do feel for her, and I really appreciated the actress's presentation of the character, where your heart breaks for the character because she's basically a living doll. And everything that she has been told has been a lie. And basically her entire personality... Like, her personality is not her own, if you think about it. Her appearance is not her own. The fact that she's a rider is not her own. Everything was essentially manufactured because her father wanted the ideal daughter. So, basically, every quality that she has is not hers. Then we get into the final episodes, where, because we do find out that the goddess of creation
is Ace's mother,
Mitsumi. And we find out that we can't tell if it's completely willing or unwilling, but we find out that
her every time she grants Desire Grand Prix winner their wish, her wish is that Ace is reincarnated.
Yes. Now, one thing that we did find out, even in the last arc, and that ties into this, is two things. All of the admins, except for the Navigator, knew that Neon wasn't real, and that Ace's mother is the goddess of creation. They knew both of those things. The second thing that they knew is that even if the Jyamato group wins, it's not going to change anything for what they want to do. They're still playing a game. And I think that is right now the weakest thing for me. Because I don't mind when you have the presumptive villains in on the joke. It happens.
Well,
you expect that.
The problem is, Baroba, she's just a boring character.
Well, that's exactly
Nothing's happening. The gardener has basically taken the boot to go to the background. So his interesting aspects have all disappeared.
Gazer, or I can't remember the admin's name, but Gazer's the rider name. He is, I don't know.
I wonder if that's why the new Ultraman series was not called Ultraman Gazer after all. Because of Kamen Rider Gazer.
But he is just like Genma, or not Genma,
Kuroto Dan.
And Thouser. He's basically just another adaptation of this particular character. He's just from the future. And if I had to put right now where we're at in the series, with the 3 series that he created, X8, 01, and this, 01, excluding the side movies, not the conclusion movie, is still by far my favorite. I still love 01, even with its flaws. But this series is on par right now with me to X8. It has some good characters. I will say I enjoy it more than I enjoyed X8. But I'm fearful that now that we're at the end of this and we have the Jyamato or Gian God, and it's now the JGP for we're going to kill all Kamen Riders, how this is going to play out.
Well, yeah. The problem is I have with this series right now, though, is this series is just the competition arc of 01 over and over and over.
Well, that's the other problem.
It's just the competition arc, and that was obviously the worst arc of 01. This is just a whole series of the competition arc of 01. And, see, writing-wise, as a whole, I do think it is better than X8. However, character-wise, none of the characters in this show have grasped me still, except for the gardener. X8, oh god, what's his name?
Which one?
The guy who died in episode 13. Well,
he dies. I can't remember his name, but he was the
standout actor in the show. He alone, I like him better than anyone in this series.
Now, I will say the acting is not terrible.
It's not terrible, but
you can definitely tell the quality of actors when you have the older characters, like Time Fire's actor, the actor who plays the frog dude's human form. You can tell even with, I think it's like Akil, what is the, hold on.
For which one?
The gardener, hold on. What was his name? Archimedel. Those 3 actors, so the ones I named, the older actors, they know how to act.
But, okay, so I did like, though, that they find out that the world of the future is basically Brave New World. Everyone is manufactured. Their lifespans are all chosen as they're manufactured, what their job is going to be.
They're basically Blade Runner.
No, it's Brave New World.
Oh, yeah, Brave New World. Duh.
Blade Runner is...
I know. I just thought about that. But, so, of the younger actors, I will say Ace definitely commits to what he's doing. Keiwa.
the actors are fine. It's just, getting back to the garden.
Well,
He's taken a back seat. I don't know where they're going now with him getting devoured by the one Jyamato.
Well, I do want to mention that. So when we were watching the 2 episodes where you have him first cut his hand to give him blood, and then the second where he gets devoured, all I thought of was Little Shop of Horrors. Specifically, the Rick Moranis one, not the original one from the 60s.
The one with Jack Nicholson?
The one with Jack Nicholson. And if you didn't know, there was an original Little Shop of Horrors, and all you thought is the Rick Moranis musical one was the only one that existed, welcome to the club. I didn't know until I bought the movie.
And you're like, this wasn't what I thought I bought.
Because I wanted him, who never saw the Rick Moranis version, to see it because it's silly. And then when I get the Jack Nicholson one, it's super serious.
Which is weird to say it's Jack Nicholson one when he was only in one scene.
Yeah, but he's credited as one of the main characters. But nevertheless, when he cuts his hand to feed the Jyamato and then lets him be devoured, all I thought...
see the shadow of him.
All I thought was, feed me, Seymour.
Well, I will say I did like in the Neon story when that fish mouth came up and devoured Neon to take her to the arena.
Well, I also liked in the next one when Bufa's zombie hands come out of the ground and grab both Gazer and Geats. I'm like, it kind of reminded me of Hurricaneger.
Our last 2 episodes have a game where you step on the circle and the goddess picks a color of who goes to hell.
Yes.
And that was kind of a cool concept, especially when you have the one girl that just is like, nope, I'm going to be the survivor, pushes the guy down.
I just thought of Battle Royale. I'm like, that would be such a Battle Royale thing to do. But, so in this last 2-parter, we don't get a lot of character development. We do get the Feed Me Seymour, which I thought was hilarious.
We get Ace finding out that his mother is the goddess.
Yes, and basically he feels that his mother is crying because she was unwilling, which is entirely possible. She could have been coerced, she could have been...
But then Keiwa, the only development he actually has is when he learns that the reason his parents were never resurrected is because all the negative stuff goes into whoever the winner is for their desire.
And so Keiwa essentially sacrifices himself to save another person. And it frustrates me because Keiwa is really, to me, still the only likable character. Because of everyone, he really... Yes, world peace is foolish. It is unrealistic. It is impossible to accomplish. But at the end of it all, it's the most altruistic. And so, if I have to choose between anything, I'm going to choose altruism over complete selfishness. Because all I think of is the monkey paw syndrome. You give yourself the monkey paw, you do these outlandish wishes, and I'm not thinking of The Simpsons, I'm thinking of the actual story, even though The Simpsons is funny as hell. But...
Well, Tales from the Crypt did it.
Yes. It's the whole reality of you're going to do selfish wishes because human beings are selfish. But there's always that one time you're going to have a very purely unselfish person, but they really get axed over.
Well, even in the unselfish person, because look at Lisa. I wish for world peace. Okay, alien invades now because the world is at peace. No one can fight back.
That is very true. Yeah, that is true. It did blow up in her face. But overall, this arc was the weakest. It was... I won't say...
I did like when Geats and Gazer were fighting down the hole, and he was using the funnels to be like the flooring.
See, I'm actually surprised you didn't like... Well, you like the choreography for a lot of the fights from this arc. What did you think of the choreography? Because you are a huge fan of funnels based on Gundam. What did you...
Funnels are fun.
Well, what did you think of his funnels when he was using them to be blocks for every time he
I like
hit?
that. That's what I'm saying. I like that he was using it as a floor and blockage and stuff.
I did like how Ace found a way to counteract each one of them. I thought that was brilliant. But anytime I see funnels, all I think is Haman-Khan.
And I do like the five-tailed fox form of Ace for Geats.
I do as well.
I like the form with the gun armor on it too.
Oh yeah, when he merges with Jin's power.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm very impressed with that. Overall, not the greatest arc, but I did want to highlight one really cool thing that's kind of like a side thing. We have one of the bodyguards, his name is John, the white dude.
Yeah.
So, come to find out, well, both he and the other bodyguard, the black gentleman...
I'm just thinking of the guys from Final Fantasy VII.
Why Final Fantasy VII?
The Shinra dudes.
Oh, the only crappy part is the black actor is not credited. Only the white actor.
Really?
Yes, because I've been trying to find... Because the white actor's name is Tom Constantine. He's actually a stuntman.
Tom Constantine? Is he related to John?
Well, his character name is John. So, Tom Constantine plays a character named John. He's a Canuck, or a Canadian. Many of my Canadian friends have always called themselves Canucks. But he has been, because he's around the same age as us. He was born, I think, in 84. So he grew up, like us, watching Power Rangers. Well, he started with Lost Galaxy. And he was such a fan, because his first series was Lost Galaxy for Power Rangers in America. His first Kamen Rider series was Fies. And he was such a fan of the series that when he got to go to Japan in 2014, he got lucky, met a director named Koichi Sakamoto.
Yeah, one of the...
And was able to work in stunt work for Tokusatsu. And he said it was a dream come true when he got the call from Toei, because he's such a fanboy that he said when he met like Time Fire, Ultraman Nexus's character from Ultraman Nexus, when he met them, he could not speak. He was like, and they gave him toys, so when he had breaks, he was playing with the figures. And all the Japanese people are looking at him like he's nuts, because he's such a Toku fan. And he's like, I have the actual figures, and I'm actually a character in a show. So... the reason I say that is because I always love it when somebody who is non-Japanese gets to play some kind of part in a tokusatsu show. All the way back to Kaku Ranger, when you have Kaku Black. Ninja Black. But all the way back there, when he didn't know any Japanese, and we got to see characters that are from a completely different culture demonstrate and represent why Tokusatsu is a worldwide phenomenon. Having John, the character John in the series, he even said with the black guy, he mentioned him, but I don't remember the name. But he said both of them are such Tokusatsu fans that they were so excited to finally be able to be a part of something that they have enjoyed themselves for years in another country. And I just hope that Toei continues. Same thing with Subaraya. They continue to see that Tokusatsu is beloved in so many other countries. And that they need to make more. They need to include a diverse cast of characters. I understand it's a Japanese show and you're going to have to make it Japanese-centric. But it doesn't prohibit you from being able to be inclusive.
Well, I mean, just think of the one...
Well, I think of, like, Lupin versus Pato Ranger.
No, I'm thinking of the other black dude who was Bucky Barnes and Abba Ranger.
Oh, yes. And he was in Geki.
Mega Ranger.
Because he was in Geki Ranger as the baseball player, right?
That's Abba Ranger.
Oh, Abba Ranger. I thought he was in Geki as well.
Abba Ranger. Bucky Barnes. And he's in, like I said, Mega Ranger. He's one of the, oh God, what was the job? Not an engineer. He's with the commander guy. It was Kubota. Can't think of what his job would be. But,
Oh, and one last funny thing about this actor. He was just hired supposedly for episodes 1 and 2. And then the, how did he put it? And then the costume designer said, we look forward to working with you for the next year. And he said, I tried unsuccessfully to hide my excitement. Though all the heads of department, including producer Takabe and the director, were there as well as the toys for the show, I can't lie. I played with them like a child on Christmas morning. And all I thought when I read that in the article was I thought of you. That if you got some way to be in a Kamen Rider show, you would be nerding out. It would be like your version of hulking out. But yeah, there's been so many great actors and actresses. It's not just limited to men, but there's been so many great people who have participated in these shows. And I think he's bored. He wants to play now. The cat, sorry, you can't see him. Ren is trying to grab the toy because we're not paying attention to him. But, so I just wanted to share that because when we saw the clip for the next episode, we saw them both about the henshin again.
Yep, for the Exterminated of Kamen Riders arc.
And I was like, oh, cool. I get to see the big kid on screen living the dream of the big kid I'm married to.
Quiet you. I'm trying to think if there's anything else notable about this arc that I liked, but other than the music, I can't think of anything.
Well, camera work and the fight.
Well, yeah, the camera work is obvious.
Well, you said other than the music. I'm like, but you liked other
the
things.
camera stuff. But I'm just trying to think of something that stood out story-wise for me.
The only thing that I could say was the whole neon stuff. I really did think, I didn't expect that. Like I expected different things, but I didn't expect that to be the reason why the father, or Time Fire is a part of it. So that in and of itself I thought really stood out. But beyond that, I actually am really frustrated with Michi. Because he may become a good guy again. The writing is on the wall. But I just don't know how I feel about him.
I just hope we don't have to deal with Baroba much longer.
Oh, God, I know.
But I am sick of her.
Yeah.
I really do just want to get, like, the gardener actually becomes the main villain and creates a whole new set of Jyamato.
See, I don't think he's going to be the main villain.
I am sick of... Well, and that's the other thing. We pretty much got rid of all having brand new Jyamato to just reuse all the previous costumes, and now our main villains are evil Kamen Riders, which is the same trap every series has been falling into.
Ah! He is determined.
Fine.
But with that said, the episodes We are really falling into that trend, and the one frustration I do have with the writer now, having seen working on 3 of his series,
with all the same,
is he has a formula. He's basically like, oh God, what's her name?
Kobayashi?
Kobayashi.
Or Junko.
No, Junko. Very much like Junko. And yeah, we could say Inoue has a formula too, but Inoue only has small elements of a formula. He likes a love triangle. He likes to play with character types. He likes to play with expectations. So that is, to me, a very minimal formula. But Junko and now this main writer, and I can't remember his name. Takahashi. Both of them basically have a paint by numbers system. It has to meet this element. It has to meet this element. It has to do this and has to do that. And it's very frustrating.
The viewers are probably like, I'm distracted, so I should probably...
Well, that's why we have the new mascot.
So, what did you guys think of this arc for Kamen Rider Geats? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Were you like, meh? Do you feel that Keiwa got pretty much gypped in character arcs for this one? Let us know in the comments. Click like, subscribe, the bell notification, whatever else YouTube has you clicking on to support us. You can support us on Twitter with 2 Twitter links now because we are now the Toku and Animation News Network. It is Toku AAN Network for Twitter and Twitch, which I'll try to figure out how to get working once the school year is done. And then it's at Kaiju no Kami. Patreon, Facebook, Instagram at Kaiju no Kami, Discord Kaiju no Kami, my website creativitybydesignllc.com.
And if for some reason, yes, you already have these episodes, but if you want to share the channel name with your friends, we actually have website links for TokuAANnetwork.com and kaijunokami.com, which I have to do it with the Toku one, but both are going to feed directly into our YouTube channel.
Yep.
Just to make it easy, so if you want to share that website link, you're more than welcome to, versus having to type in and potentially type it wrong to find it on YouTube.
Just look Toku and Animation News Network.
But we, as always, appreciate you joining us, and please do keep in touch. If you have any questions, comments below, or if you have any suggestions outside of other series that he needs to review on his ever-lengthening list.
But I did record my reviews today for Ultraman Cosmos and some other stuff.
And I will be starting another video series myself. You'll see that either on this YouTube channel or on another separate YouTube channel for Pop Culture Therapy on addiction and recovery. Some people may have interest in it, so I figured I'd mention it.
That's pretty much it. So until next time, bye.
Bye. Really?
Oh wait, no, it's supposed to go.
Well, I thought he was supposed...
No, he does it like a fox.